You guys asked me to make a video about my lineup for Germany in realistic battles at the BR 6.7, so here you go. For some of the vehicles I use, I already made a separate guide on how I recommend to play them, and a guide for the Jagdtiger will follow soon. You can find the link for the videos in the description. I also like the idea about the insight for a certain BR. If you want me to have a look at another BR, let me know about it in the comments. Welcome to my new video. This is the lineup I use for Germany 6.7. The vehicle I created my lineup around is the Tiger 2H. I really like to play this tank even in up tiers. You can't really use it as a full brawler though. Even in full down tier matches you want to pick your fights and only brawl with enemies that can't pen your turret front or squishy enemies that you can just point and click back to the spawn screen. It won't get better in the future. Gaijin will implement more and more vehicles like the 2S3M that can use overpressure to one-shot you, or just more fast-wheeled boys with heat FS. Nevertheless, the Tiger 2H is agile, has a good gun and sometimes some armor to use. Make sure to check out my guide when you struggle to play it. We are at the BR 6.7 and will face more and more post-World War II vehicles, rockets and whatever. There are also some maps like Maginot Line or Sands of Sinai where the game appears to be more like a driving simulator. When I get a big map like that and in addition a full up tier, I may pick the leichte Panzer as my first spawn. Compared to the Tiger 2H it is faster and can get to some crucial positions early. I use it to scout for my teammates that got a full down tier match, and when it is safe to do so, peek over a ridgeline and shoot at the enemy. Keep in mind that the suspension is horrible and therefore the gun wobbles a lot. Also this tank has quite a height and it is a juicy target for planes. Again, check out my guide in case you missed it. A new candidate for my Germany 6.7 lineup is the Jagdtiger. You asked me to make a guide and so I put it in my lineup. Normally I'm not a big fan of case-made tanks, but that is a new challenge I'm happy to face. Here are my thoughts on the Jagdtiger. Due to the massive armored front plate, the tank is rather slow. The gun is okay, but not overwhelming. Like other tanks, the side armor is weak and therefore a huge weak spot. The Jagdtiger is at a BR where it will face more and more tanks with heat FS, the bow or even rockets, and the only real advantage the Jagdtiger has, the heavy front armor, gets useless and pointless. I only pick it when the situation is right. When I have a down tier match or close to it, and when the map suits the playstyle of a heavy armored case-made tank, it is time for the Jagdtiger. What do I mean by suited for the playstyle of a heavy armored case-made tank? The Jagdtiger has a rather long reload time and with the weak side armor you really want to avoid to get flanked. On maps where there is one capture point or a choke point you want to hold, you can use the armor of the Jagdtiger. When your teammates caught up again or when it is later in the match, you can also push the enemy together. Make sure you have some teammates with you that secure your flanks. You can actually stay in the open and focus the attention of the enemies on you while your teammates flank them. With 6 crewmates you can even risk to get hit and lose a crew member. Make sure to have an escape route and always check the minimap. When there are no more teammates around you and you are alone at the front, this means there might be enemies. Back up and reduce the angle of possible directions from which the enemy can shoot on your side armor. This was just my first impression on the Jagdtiger, a dedicated guide will follow soon. Here comes the real star of the 6.7 lineup, the Germany AntiAir Kugelblitz. Close air support can be really annoying, and around 6.7 the first jets appear. Germany has a really strong anti-air tech tree and the Kugelblitz is amazing. Even with the stock ammunition you can shoot down planes as you spray and pray or take out squishy enemies. I'm going to make a guide on how to use anti-air vehicles before radar enters the game, so I won't give many tips on how to play the Kugelblitz. Just a few hints: get closer to the enemy, take a little bullet drop into account, shoot in a straight line on an estimated point where the enemy plane might be, and use anti-air ammunition when you want to fight planes. To give the other team a little chance to improve their anti-air gameplay, I use the ME262A1U4 as close air support. I just use it because it is my first jet I got. This plane is okay, but sometimes the 50mm cannon can be really annoying since it hits everything but the enemy, and enemy jets or superprops can keep up easily with this plane. I fly in an 8 over the battlefield, and when an enemy superprop follows me, I use my speed and climb really steep. Most enemy planes will not be able to follow you. Maintaining speed and boom and zoom is the best tip I can give. Of course you want to have the armor-piercing belt researched for ground attacks. I hope you liked my video with a little insight on my Germany 6.7 lineup, and I was able to give you some tips. Like, subscribe and leave a comment if you want to, and check out my Discord server to connect with other players and for more tips. Hope to see you in game soon.